see what it looks like. Yep, it is live again here between Tomof and Orange. And apparently Tomof won that first game in the Patron Mirror. That must have went pretty fast because we weren't away for too long. And he's now playing with his Druid versus Orange's Patron Warrior once again. And his hand is actually looking pretty good. He can coin out a Shade and then innervate a Druid of the Claw. If he picks up another innervate, that's a double innervate boom. So it's looking pretty nicely here for him. Has to play every turn so far. And the hand for Orange actually not looking very good, to be honest. No card draw at all.
My blade be thirsty. Job done.
And he might actually just charge with that Druid of the Claw. A Druid of the Saber actually in the deck. That's a pretty interesting card. I myself don't think that's too strong, but it looks pretty cool at least. So taunt or charge. Taunt still looks pretty safe. That's what he's going to be doing. Only innervate, not innervate, sorry. Only execute punishes this, and there is no execute. So this is pretty damn hard to deal with. And he might just decide to trade with his Frothing and his Death Spite, which is so brutal, but at least it sets up the Death Spite, right? So if he draws like an Inner Rage, he can make a wave of Patrons. Oh wait, he isn't going to do that. He's not going to set up the Death Spite. At least not the Death Rattle part of it. I find that pretty curious, but okay. Was that a Shredder off the top? Wow. Freaking Tomof, man. Sometimes pretty fortunate, at least. That's what it seems like. Armorsmith picked up. Not going to play that, though. At least not before he sees what comes out of this. Scientist. That doesn't do too much in this matchup. So now Tomof has to think about how he wants to go about this Armorsmith. He can just ignore it and not attack with his Shade. He could charge it with his Druid of the Claw. He can also silence it. The normal play would probably be to just play the Druid of the Claw in taunt mode and go face with the 2/2. And don't really bother about the 5/5 since you're afraid of like an execute. That seems like the most obvious play. Sometimes pretty top-decked, indeed. I was thinking about this for a long time. He's probably thinking about the odds of like an execute and how it would play out for him, because he doesn't really have like a good play next turn unless he wants to like Force of Nature or Keeper and Druid of the Saber, which seems pretty weird. So he wants to go about this pretty carefully with the Druid of the Claw.
Where shall I strike?
He's actually going to charge it here. That means that he could charge with a 5/5 as well, unless he's too scared of an execute after the Death Spite effect, and it looks just like it. And you would have to think that the Patrons would have to come out here with the Whirlwind. It's going to be 4 Whirlwinds on the board, and a Dead Scientist as well. That's a nice extra effect. And how does Tomof deal with this? He does have a Keeper and a Druid of the Saber, so he can take care of 2 of these that have 2 HP at least. But there's 4 of them on board. Oh, this is brutal. There's no way of taking care of all of these, I think. Even if you trade with 1/6/4. It's just too brutal, because if you play the Keeper... Oh man, this is pretty bad right now for Tomof actually. He had such a sick start, but this is not good. Not too good. What if you just play 1 Druid of the Saber?
I must
He's silencing that?
Another night on the
Druid of the Saber charge. Oh, this is sick. I didn't even think about this. Because that 3/1 can't produce more Patrons. Yeah, this is really good. Execute. Not too good right now, but it might be useful later. Oh, is he actually going to execute this? That's a huge mistake, because there's Dr. Boom coming down next turn. He has to save this. He has to think about 7 mana turns. Definitely has to save this, yeah. It's a really good decision. Because even, like, you're thinking about Dr. Boom obviously on turn 7, but you're also thinking about the Ancient Lore. So that's also a problem. Hey, Ontario, welcome to the chat, sir. How are you doing today? Whirlwind pickup. That's pretty nice, actually, because that allows him... it actually depends on how he wants to do this. He could actually go off with the second wave of Patrons. And he's hoping very dearly for the second patron, or the original patron, to not get hit. Hit face or the old patron, he thinks. Those are the perfect hits for him here. Now, the only thing he dies to is combo. Innervate combo would kill him this turn, but he doesn't have the parts for it. So depending on what Tomof does here... So how can Tomof win this right now? He could put everything on drawing combo and just swipe face, charged with Druid of the Saber and hero power for like 7 damage to face.
What to do?
Then he's in danger of getting killed next turn though, and he only has 1 draw left. But he only has 1 draw left regardless. So he might have to think about just doing exactly that.
Another night.
Or he just plays the Druid of the Saber in the passive form, yeah. And hopes for a Saboteur anyways. Yeah, this makes more sense actually. Because this way, how much damage is this? 19? That's 19 with combo.
Time waits for no one.
Just got up preparing breakfast. Breakfast is a great idea.
Elune, guide my lands.
Actually playing the 2/3 here. Probably just to like take less damage, it seems, or make a swipe better. But the swipe doesn't really get better because there's just more patrons coming out of it. But combo is lethal. He does need to draw Savage Roar. Where's that Savage Roar for Tomof? It's a pretty low chance of winning it, but this draw's gonna do it if he gets it. This draw decides it. Power of the Wild. Is that also enough? Could that be enough? How much damage is that? That's 10. That's also 14. That's exactly 14, I think. Oh, no, it isn't. He needs 1 mana more. He doesn't have 10 mana. He's 1 off lethal. If he had 10 mana, he could hero power for 10. This isn't enough. Right, because Force of Nature plus Power of the Wild is 9. The 3/2 on board gets 4, so that's 13. And then, if he only had 1 mana more, he could win with his hero power. But he doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. And now he has to think about how he stays alive. Now he clears all this, and there's no way unless he takes damage, I think. Because that's only 4 minions, and one of them is going to survive. Okay, if he does it this way, I guess he can't survive somehow. But so he's basically banking on his opponent not drawing more damage. And at the same time, he's banking on him not making more patrons as well. So that's pretty crazy. Hey, Psycho, what's going on, man? Nice to see you in the chat. Battle Rage. Wow, even an Inner Rage picked up. So now at the latest, it's basically over. Is he going to slam as well? Oh, that's actually lethal with the Inner Rage. Didn't think about that. Yep. So that was kind of that was kind of ridiculous. The 1 mana off here for Tomof. Not showing his Power of the Wild, though. I don't know if he's playing a Token Druid or if that's just like an addition into it.